put it, anyone that may be hearing me, that may be come from that state, I give value to you. You know, it's a very beautiful city, and the youth farm is as their personal work in that place.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much
Thank you
for that contribution there. Now, let me tell us something. Just like James has said, and he has rightly said as well,
that is it.
we have abandoned agriculture that used to be our mainstay in Nigeria. We have abandoned, even from the colonial era. They ended a lot of subsistence farming during that period, and they made Nigerians produce cash crops that they took back to their countries. So we actually have the capacity to end food crisis in Nigeria if only we will pay adequate attention to the agricultural sector. But these days, I don't know how we got brainwashed to think that, the white collar jobs are much more honorable than the agricultural sector. I remember one time when I think my family decided to go into farming because we used to eat a lot of yams, and there's a point where you get and yams become pretty expensive. I think we're getting to that period now where you can buy a tuber of yam for as much as 3,000 naira. So we decided to just farm that. We might not be the people directly farming right there, but you can employ the services of people who can farm, but supervise it and be aware of what goes on right there. I mean, that period we didn't buy yam, and honestly speaking, it felt good knowing that these things came from the things that we did by ourselves. But I don't know, somehow we abandoned it, and now we're after the white collar jobs. Is it possible that the environment, just like James has said, he knows someone who has lost millions of naira into someone who is trying to full-scale agriculture. It's possible that the environment might not be conducive enough to farm, but do we have people who are willing enough to do what it takes to excel in that agricultural sector? Because of course we know people who do excellently well in that sector, but they do not pay us, so we can't be shouting their names right here on radio. But we know organizations and agricultural firms that have done excellently well. But now let's move it from the offices. Let's move the agricultural everything from the offices into the farmlands. Remember when we were talking about dignity of labor one Wednesday here in the studio? We said if you brand your job, no matter what you are doing, even if you're cleaning shoes,
you will sell.
If you brand it, you would sell.
Of course.
People will come and employ your services. It's the same thing with agriculture. Now you see the government is trying to open like an academy for plumbers and all of those things. When it is completely branded, you see people say, I want to be a plumber when I grow up. But as of now, plumbing is an abomination. Like, you cannot go to school and want to be a plumber.
That was the problem we had those days, because a lot of people were looking at the white collar job to be at the higher parts of it, at the hierarchy, while the farming, the agricultural people who do agriculture are seen as people who are not educated, people who don't have experience, people who don't have handwork. And so for that inferiority complex, a lot of people now feel, okay, maybe it's because I'm doing farming, that's why you look at me and feel like I'm not up to your class or standard. So all of us, all road now leads to white collar jobs. That's how we find ourselves here.
And even one of the former presidents of Nigeria, this is President Olusegun Obasanjo now, has one of the biggest farms in Africa. One of the biggest farms, the Ota farms. If you have taken a tour to that farm, you know the exploits that agriculture can do. It is a very lucrative sector. And this is why, like the last caller said, we all should be talking about it. I mean, that's what we're doing right now, and the program is here to stay, so much so that we can know the importance and the relevance of these things so that we can venture into them. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, my dear sister Martha.
Alame, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. I greet your colleague.
All right, it's Holy Ray.
Yes, thank you so much for this conversation, Martha. You see, agriculture, I don't know how we do here. Agriculture is being seen as, a profession for poor people. I've been always, I never hesitate to always share my testimony. I'm a civil servant. As a civil servant, the only business you are permitted by law to go into. And then I wish, I started my own, livestock farming about 3 years ago. And then honestly, I wish I had equipped myself with that very skill and knowledge even before I went to the university. Perhaps I wouldn't have been,
go to this. Yeah.
I can promise. I'm telling you now that what I made, profit I made in my farm in a week, my 6-month salary as a civil servant is not up to that.
Wow.
It doesn't look, agriculture is, it is just, yes, there is insecurity, but I wish, the youth would just look towards that direction. Agriculture is the future. If I was looking at the statistics, at the data just yesterday, that the population of Nigerian graduates that actually graduated and studied, a degree university, they are not up to 5% that are actually working without degree. They are not up to 5%. So they just go to the university, you just get that degree, you abandon it, then you see a graduate. So agriculture is the future. Agriculture is the way to go. There are a lot, you have different sectors. You can go into livestock farming, you can go into snail farming, fish farming.
It's vast.
Farming. Yes, it's vast.
Yeah.
You can go into rabbit. You don't need, it is not all of it that you go into the bush, into the forest. So, I have buy backhoe bags. I have done it already. I have bought about 200 backhoe bags. I'm going to be planting and producing yam right inside my farm. From weeks here, you plant your yam inside your backhoe bag. You plant your cucumber. You plant your watermelon. You plant inside the bag. At the end of the, after the harvest season, you no longer even buy those commodities.
Yeah. And
also go ahead and sell it again. I wish, this cannot be pleased. This cannot just be a 1 hour, program. I hope you will continue to have this kind of conversation. Agriculture is the future, particularly now that we're going into the rainy season. You even go into the bush to farm at the comfort of your compound, your vicinity.
Yeah.
You can plant those little, you can buy that cage and buy your 3, 4, 10 chickens and you start. You can buy the rabbits. I think there are various sectors of agriculture.
And the thing is, even if you're discouraged from getting into the farmlands, you can employ the service of people who can. You don't need to actively use your hoe and cutlass to farm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You pay the farmers.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things I did in Ayeteju and in local government. I'm paying the farmers. They already cleared it.
Yeah.
They let the rain fall now. At the end of the day, I don't even go to the farm myself. They go to the farm, do the weeding, clearing, and the harvesting. At the end of the day, I just pay them up. I can have an arrangement to say, okay, whenever we harvest it is going to be 60-40%, even if you don't have the cash to pay. And people are willing to do this. I want a lot of people will, take advantage of this. Agriculture. Please, is the future, honestly. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you
so much, Alamin, for this contribution. And yes, of course, Alamin is one person that has always emphasized on the need for people to actively participate in agriculture. What we don't understand is, if we relegate these things, so if we say, this business is not our concern, we will not do this one, I went to school. How many of us are practicing what we actively or what we actually learned in school? So many of us I know are not even practicing what we learned in school. So at the end of the day, farming is a skill. Skills are very important. It's important. It's super.
Education is also now a skill, because you can see someone who read law is working in another organization that has to do with education. Someone who read probably like media now is working in another place that has to do with education. So it's also more like learning a skill.
All right. So people, there you have it. We might not be able to take any more of the cash crops we have or we produce or cultivate right here in Nigeria. But trust that next week this conversation will be coming right here on air. It will be happening every Wednesday at 11 a.m. It's Agropreneur, guys. And I'm hoping that we key into whatever knowledge we'll be sharing here as much as possible. Agriculture is important. The more we try to encourage people to go into agriculture, I think the better for us. Because there are so many people who who might not even be crying right now about the food situation in the country just because they have
something behind their house.
You get that.
Farm.
So it is super important. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for indulging us. It's Martha Mathara here of the Midday Extra Show and
Holy Ray.
And together we have been on the Agropreneur segment of this show. Keep it locked in. The next hour, we're talking about the national core values. Another important conversation that we need to have. We don't get tired of talking about these things because it's the least that we can do to ensure that the country becomes great and is better. At least we're not going to be folding our arms and just praying that Nigeria gets better. We will do all that it is within our power to ensure that we contribute to the growth and the development of the country. See you in that hour. Please keep it locked in. We'll be right back.
Nigeria is a country blessed with fertile